AFTV, Julian, 2-0 to the Arsenal, but it wasn't as comfortable as that scoreline suggests. I mean, they put us under a lot of pressure.
It wasn't comfortable at all. Just thinking at the end when we scored that goal, I don't know what you felt, but it was the complete opposite to how I felt on Sunday when we scored our second goal. I mean, that moment for me, it was just complete ecstasy, and it was a moment that I'm going to remember forever. Whereas today, it was just relief. There wasn't that much joy about that second goal. It was just the relief, because one thing we're all predicting was Olympiacos equaliser.
Yeah, because they were really growing into the game. Now you could see they were getting very confident. I thought they played some good stuff, around the box. And one that we defended poorly, but they had us under a lot of pressure.
Look, we defended well because they didn't score. And our goalkeeper, I thought, was phenomenal. I mean, people are talking about man of the match, and for me, it's got to be Odegaard. However, if you take Odegaard's performance out, I mean, Raya it's got to be a straight 10. He did nothing wrong. He pulled off a couple of great saves. They had some really good chances. And I think that if we didn't have a goalkeeper of the quality, and he's world class, and he definitely was tonight, of Raya, then they're equalising. And that was a difference, because you look at that team, you say they played well, and they obviously played well. And they call it the Super League in Greece, and I'm looking at them, I'm thinking, are they super? They're top of their Super League, but the way they played was good. It was entertaining. I enjoyed the game, but are they that good? Because after a few minutes, I'm thinking, well, Martinelli should have scored. Yeah. That was an absolute sitter, and I love the guy. But if I got myself in that position, I'd do better than that. I would do better. I think you'd do better. I think most of us would do better. It was an absolutely terrible miss. But that wasn't the only one. Trossard, guilty. Goalkeeping, guilty. So many chances missed that what it does, it leaves it open for what we were all fearing, which was an equaliser. And that team that came here, yes, they played well. They're enthusiastic and they're a credit to their league. But when you look at their history in the Champions League, I think their last 11 away games, they've lost by an aggregate score of 30-6. And that was a reflection of what we should have done to them. And we didn't, and we opened the door to them. So I think one of the reasons they look so good is because we were so poor in front of the goal. Because if we'd come here and we're talking about a 5-6 goal lead, which we would have been conceivable, we wouldn't be saying how good they looked.
Yeah, true. Who for you tonight, apart from Raya? Who else stood out for you tonight?
Well, the obvious one's Odegaard. He was phenomenal. I mean, he comes on for 8 minutes plus injury time at Newcastle. He really looked the part. And today, he basically ran the game. He was, the balls he was playing, the enthusiasm he had. He's chasing the ball back. He's closing down. He's leading the press. I mean, I know Tony Adams criticised him that he's not the right captain, and I kind of agree in some senses what Tony Adams said, but the game's moved on from Tony Adams' era. That is what you need as a modern day captain. He is leading by example in the same way as Tony Adams used to. He might not be as vocal, but that performance of what he did, he is enthusiastic. He does everything that you'd want from a captain and a player.
You think he's wrong? Tony Adams, listen, we know, like you said, it's a different area. You think he was wrong to say what he said, and definitely you feel that Odegaard is the guy. I captain this team to a title.
No, I understood what Tony Adams said, but what I'm also saying is the game's moved on for Tony Adams. Yeah. He would never have been an Arsenal captain in the Tony Adams era, but I don't think Tony Adams would have been a captain in this era. It's just moved on, and he is the man for the moment for Arsenal. And if he carries on playing like that, and he hasn't been that great for the last season or so, he's toned down. But what I've seen from him in the last sort of 8 minutes of the Newcastle game and today, he's what we came to expect. He's brilliant.
Start for you at the weekend?
Yeah, absolutely.
Anybody else that's put forward a case?
I think they've all put forward a case, because the great thing about what we're seeing at Arsenal is every single player that came in, that's not a reserve. They're not reserves. They're just players that can play. You can interchange them anytime you want. You've got Calafiori that come in and you stay as a starter, but then Miles Lewis-Skelly is a starter as well. It's just you've got to look at what Berta's done. it's not just about the players that he's got in, but today they've announced, we all knew it was coming, the Saliba contract. And what that's done is the work behind the scenes is like, we all applaud the goals, the flicks, what Odegaard did, the great saves. But the real work at Arsenal to allow that to happen is the backroom staff, and part of that is Berta and what he's done. Not just putting the players on the pitch of the new ones and all the shiny new ones that all the supporters love, but getting all the players now down for these long-term contracts.